coming to you from the heart building in historic downtown Marysville. Getting into all the dirt from the gridiron game, it's time to huddle up with your host, Adam Avalos.
Welcome to Huddle Up on 93Q. We are so happy to have you. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here. We are officially in the playoffs, guys. I mean, we've been in the playoffs the last few weeks, but this week was the NFC Championship game. This is where teams battle. There's 4 teams left to go to the Super Bowl, and we had some matchups. We're going to start with the Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills first. That was the one that happened yesterday. You guys all saw it. It was a very close game. There were some controversial calls. We're going to talk about those. We're kind of talking about them before we even started the show. And so we want to get into those. You sound like you got something to say, Gary. What's up?
I don't have anything to say yet, but I was just thinking, do you really want to start there?
No. We're just going to get into our conversations with the Chiefs and the Bills yesterday. 32-29, the Kansas City Chiefs going back for a chance at a three-peat this season. You can't deny, how good the Chiefs are. I mean, they're a top franchise in the NFL. They have a wonderful coach, a franchise quarterback, a great owner with the franchise with some legendary tradition there. They have a defensive coordinator. I think we're going to talk about him a little bit in the show that has stayed there for years that I think really is an MVP through these playoffs. He's dialing up some really, really awesome stuff in Spagnuolo, but I wanted to get your guys' takes on the games. I thought it was another legendary performance. No matter what the outcome or one way or another, it was a really, really good game. It was a close game. It was Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. Allen now 0-4 versus Mahomes in the playoffs. But Ryan, wanted to go to you first. What did you think about the Bills versus the Chiefs? There's so much to talk about here, but just the game itself, what did you think?
Honestly, it went exactly how I thought it would go. I don't know why. It's just one of those ones where you turn the game on, you have a kind of an inkling of what you think is going to happen, and it kind of played out the exact same way I thought it was going to play out, to be honest with you. I knew it was going to come down to the last 4 minutes of the game. Whoever had the ball was going to control that time, and whoever got that time is going to control and win the game with that time. And I felt like it was... there's a lot of predictions, and there's a lot of hype, and there's a lot of hearsay and all that stuff. You got to win the games. You got to win the games. And Buffalo has to be scratching their head walking away from that game going, we didn't turn the ball over. We didn't miss kicks. We didn't make mistakes. We outgained them. We outran them. A few judgmental play calls, in my opinion, when you have key players out there on 4th and 1s. I felt like that was like the key play all night long. I felt like we always were watching Buffalo go for 4th and 1. It was always Josh Allen trying to put it on his shoulders going to the left. I mean, I could have called that play all day long. So I just think they were too predictable.
One thing I thought about the Bills, this is in favor, because we're going to get into the Chiefs versus the Bills and we thought about the officiating a little bit. But one thing I thought is you're right, they ran the quarterback sneak a bunch of times, and they're so bad at it. I was so surprised, a guy as big as Josh Allen, that they would be that terrible at the quarterback sneak, especially before watching Jalen Hurts and do the tush push, and they've mastered that play. They look terrible at it. They tried it multiple times in the game, and it never looked pretty, even when they got it.
It never looked pretty.
Yeah, but
it was too predictable. Josh Allen hikes the ball, he steps back, he goes left, and he goes up behind the guard.
Yeah.
I mean, it was easy to predict.
It was kind of interesting. A lot of teams go up more up the gut towards the center. I wonder if they by design do it that way, but it just seemed to be slow developing. And even though he's a bigger guy, he wasn't having the leverage on it.
They have to utilize Moss in those situations.
Yeah, it was interesting why they didn't do it. What do you think, Jay? The game yesterday, the Chiefs, they're going back to the Super Bowl, Jay. 32-29, the Chiefs beat the Bills yesterday, going back to Super Bowl number 3 in a row.
It was a great game. I mean, I was entertained the whole time and stuff. Like we're saying, it came down to the last plays of the game. A couple controversial calls, but I mean, I can't say it was all on the refs. It was a really good game that went back and forth, and I just think the Bills ran out of time. They were running better. But Kansas City is a phenomenal team. Andy Reid, I mean, you can't deny it. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it'd be the first team in history to get 3 in a row.
So I wanted to talk about...
No. Who's got 3 in a row? Super Bowl.
The Packers.
Not Super Bowl.
Not Super Bowl.
3 Super Bowls in a row.
But championships.
No, technically the Packers have done it twice.
No team's ever done it.
Technically,
had a chance.
Yeah, technically the Packers have done it twice before it was a Super Bowl.
No, the reason why I know that, my brother just when I was talking to him, he made sure I knew that.
Well, Super Bowl 1.
Well, yeah, that'd be
Technically, you're right. Super Bowl 1 and 2 were the first 2 Super Bowls, and the Packers actually won the year before they started the Super Bowl.
Right, the 65 season.
So when I woke up this morning, I'm not gonna lie, I had blood on my mind. I thought, like, let's really dig into this. But as the day has progressed, I realized, like, bad calls happen and such like that. But I wanted to talk about the 2 calls. It sounds like Ryan had one that he really didn't like, and then there was one that I didn't like. The one that I really didn't like is the call where Josh Allen went for it on a 4th and 1. Again, ugly. They were all ugly. There wasn't one that I thought was gracefully done yesterday that they converted it. But he went for it, and me and Kelly were joking about this earlier today. We were sending each other photos, but he went for it, and there wasn't clear, definitive evidence based on, like, visual. You couldn't actually see the ball. But I think based on where his body was, I think most of America today, that's how I feel, feels like he got the first down.
No, I agree.
But he
with
wasn't
you.
given it. And at that point in the game, that was the real, I would say, the crucial point in the game where the Bills, they weren't able to recover from that.
I would say both the controversial calls that we're going to talk about led to touchdowns within 5 plays.
Of course. But I want to talk about this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand right there if the refs swallow the whistle, or if they go and then they huddle up, and then they talk to the people in New York and they give him the first down there. They're still around the 50-yard line, and the Bills still have to go down and score. So, like, we don't have this going on today, right? But they blow it the other way, and I feel that you have a lot of scorned fans running around. I feel it just like we're talking about fuel on the fire. I feel like those types of things have really poured fuel on the fire of this narrative that's kind of starting to stir that maybe something's going on with the NFL and the Chiefs. They could have just let it play right there. I just think give them the first down, let them play. If the Bills don't score right there and the Chiefs defense stops them, we're not having that conversation. Today we're like, hey, Chiefs, the dominant defense stopped them right there, going back to Super Bowl number 3, no controversy. But today there's a little bit of stuff. What do you think, Ryan? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I'm sitting here talking to you across from this table, and I'm looking at this football, and I'm thinking it's pretty big. It's almost the size of like a half a yard.
Yeah.
So if I have to move 1 full yard, if I move a half myself, that ball's probably going to go the extra half just by sticking it there. I mean, I saw the play. I thought he got it. I actually thought the play before it, the tight end actually lunged for the first down.
It wasn't the best spot either.
It wasn't a great spot. But that's just the way those calls go in that particular game with those particular teams.
Kelly, I want to hear a fresh take. I know Kelly, and I don't want to be like, because we have similar takes. Kelly might have a differing one, but that's actually why I'm so glad you're here tonight, because I like to hear a differing of opinion. Well, what's your thought on that particular
You wanted
call?
him here too because the text thread was really nice too.
Oh yeah,
last night.
No.
My thing with the
well, that's what we're here. That's what we do. We talk about football. You know what I mean?
And this is what we went over, right?
Yeah.
Ball's in his arm, right?
Yeah, so he's kind of showing it in his arm.
You can't see the ball,
No,
right?
you can't.
This
Back
is the
to
first down line. If the ball's like that, it's a first down. If the ball's like this, it's
I
not,
guess,
right? Right, but this is the thing. However they called that on the field, it was going to stay that way.
Yeah.
Because his body was covering the ball and you had no clear evidence. And in the rule book, which I sent out in the thread, it says you have to have concise and obvious.
Oh, but I'm asking you, why did they need to call it? They could have called it a first down and then reviewed it.
They should have called it a first down.
No, they need to know. They need to know what the rules are in those situations.
Well, if you look at the guy that was
The official
that was at the top,
down.
he called it a first down.
Then
The one on the bottom of the screen marked it.
Yeah.
And he should have let the guy up top.
Do you agree that play was the deciding play that ended up deciding the Bills' future in that game?
No.
No, that wasn't the end for them?
Because guess what? First down at the 50 is not a touchdown or a field goal.
No, I'm not saying.
And the Bills have proven
it ended up
that.
being the dagger. It ended up being a dagger, a turnover on downs right there. With just,
I think if you're rooting for the Bills, that's what your excuse is going to be, right?
Well, I don't know
but
excuse,
if you're clear-minded that Kansas City is a championship outfit, right?
If I'm clear-minded, I don't want any game decided that way.
But why did that one official?
I don't know
that
game.
didn't
Even
see
if
it?
it's the Panthers versus the Browns, in a game that I don't care about, I
Reverse the
definitely
call.
don't want it decided that way.
Right,
I
right.
want them to.
I want the index card to come back.
We said that earlier this year. Earlier this year, remember Sam Darnold got his helmet ripped off in the end zone, and it was like, they didn't call it, and then we never got to see the end of that drive. I always want to see the end of a drive. I don't want to see it in the referee's hand, so I never like it like that. Whether it's the Chiefs or whomever.
But the worst call of the whole game was a flag that seemed like they threw just in case.
I saw that was a late one.
If Kincaid would have caught the ball, they were going to call illegal man downfield. Yeah. But then the announcer said, "Oh, there's a flag on the play," and then
it got picked up.
No, there's not a flag.
Yeah. He's like, I was told in the booth that there's a flag on the play. They're going back
and to be fair, I want to make sure I say that there were plays that the Bills they got. They were the benefit of some bad play calls too, or the Chiefs were had some bad play calls against them too. It wasn't like it was like totally one-sided. I'm not saying that. It just felt like two definitive ones. The Ryan's talking about is the one where he caught the ball near the end zone and he kind of used the ground to brace it, correct?
That's the one that I felt they said that he caught the ball and in here we go again, watching it in slow motion like we always do. And they do come down together with the ball, but in slow motion, it looks like the defender clearly has both of his hands around the ball. Xavier Worthy's hand is one hand. Remember this.
Yeah.
In his hand, and as he's falling to the ground, he uses the other hand to brace the ground.
Yeah.
So he has no control compared to the defender, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't even want to call it a catch. I don't want to call it an interception. I don't want to call it a catch because when they come down to the ground together, the tip of the ball hits the ground.
Yeah.
Any other play, any other receiver that has the ball like that, granted, there is the rule that says if it doesn't move, then it's considered. The half of the ball touched the ground in that situation, and then
it's
it
almost
rolled
like
over.
he used the ground to brace the catch.
And then it was like they basically said, well, in this situation, the tie is always going to go to the offensive player. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That, to me, that call just should have been incomplete, redo the down, the down's over and move on. Not give it to them at the 4, first down, and really extended that play, which led to another touchdown.
Yeah, and both of those plays, do you feel like today, if you woke up and both of them were called the opposite way, do you feel Chiefs fans are getting up today thinking they got a raw deal? I think those are both ticky-tacky. It's just kind of funny because they both went the Chiefs' way.
If there's one call that game was the only call they had a iffy call, cool, but there's multiple calls all season long. That's why people are getting like, hang on a second.
You know who I was thinking loves this, man? Who loves it? Because whether you think it's a real thing or not, it's a real thing, dude. It's gained some steam. But wait, let me finish this. The Eagles, man, they love this because they're probably going to get the cleanest game possible this week because all eyes are on the refs now. I promise you that. Go ahead,
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
Bad teams don't get favorable calls. Why?
Which one's bad in this situation?
No, I'm
Raiders. They're both the best teams.
The Chiefs are a very good team, so everyone thinks they get favorable calls because why? They're always in a spot to win the game.
Yeah.
So every game that they play, they're close games, but the Chiefs are usually driving the competition. And so they're getting these calls, favorable calls, because they put themselves in a position.
To be fair, the last dynasty that everyone hated, that was in a similar thing, has also been caught for Spygate, Deflategate. I mean, there's some things behind it that make them hated.
I'm a big Jordan guy, right? Uh-huh. I can admit that he got the calls. Why are the Chiefs? Why won't they admit that they're getting the calls? Because of the Chiefs. That's my thing, though. Yeah. I know Jordan was getting the calls. I know that LeBron is now getting the calls. Right. I know Kobe was getting the calls. Gary, they went to the rack a lot.
Tell me what you said earlier today. Why is his number 15?
Yeah, because anytime you touch Mahomes, you get 15 yards.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime. I'm just saying, I think we can at least acknowledge that, something's maybe kind of going on here.
We know that it is because they're going to change the rule call and play reversal.
I even have it down here
on the QB slide now. It's going to be changed.
I even have it written down here. Here's my take on it, right? Mm-hmm. I have it written down here that if you want, I'm not going to, but if somebody wanted to put an asterisk or two on some of Tom Brady's ones, be it the tuck rule. I think Ryan's got a legitimate beef in that game. I do. I just do. Or if somebody
still talking about the tuck rule.
No, I'm just saying. Or if somebody wanted to put an asterisk on Deflategate.
Yeah, that was the start of the dynasty, by the way.
An asterisk to me doesn't mean that you just get rid of the record. It doesn't mean that. An asterisk is just like a here but, and it doesn't have to be in the official. It's just like an Adams record book. And
are you ready to make a legal statement? Is that what's going on right now?
If we're going to do that, then we got to go take Dusty Rose championships, Hulk Hogan's, all these.
Are you saying that NFL's like WWE? Is that what you're saying? Maybe so. Same licensing.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, man. That's like
In the NFL, there's no reason why there's any controversial calls whatsoever anymore with all the HD cameras everywhere, all the eyes in the sky. There should be no reason why there any call that for a day. All what happens when we make a bad call, then we'll talk about it on Sports Center next day. Oh, it's a bad call. We'll get it next time. If it was a real NFL, a real sports league, the official would get fired, demoted, or fined. You go to other sports leagues that make these crazy ass calls, then they're gonna get fined and demoted.
The NFL loves us right now talking about this, right?
No, yeah,
because guess what? The easiest thing to do is put a chip in this football.
Yeah.
So that they don't have to go to the chains to see if it was a first down.
Yeah.
Just like
you can play golf without even going to a golf course.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
Tiger
you
Woods
can't
started
tell
that.
them that there's a first down unless you bring out this chain with about 20 links on it.
That
Come
might
on,
be bound like this.
Yeah,
They didn't pull it tight.
A lot of money
Well, not
involved
only
in
that,
A lot
but
of
then
money.
you also have to rely on the people walking straight
Hey,
out.
down, there you go.
Exactly.
Hey,
So
let's
it's
not
like,
take jobs away from
let's veer a
people.
little to the right, veer a little bit to the
Yeah,
left.
you would-
First down, no first down.
You wouldn't even have to have anybody marking the football. You're going to know every down where that football stopped.
just because before we get on to off to commercial break, and this was a different topic, but the NFL, it kind of goes along with this. Like this week, I think it was before the game, the NFL is expected to include QB slides and expanded replay assist per Mahomes slide play last week. Adam Schefter was saying that they're going to talk about that. But, things are happening every week with Mahomes that they're like changing the rules for. You know what I mean?
I think if you're going to do any type of replaying, this is just my personal opinion. I'm throwing it out here. I'm getting tired.
I hated that last week. I hated that, man.
But I hate that too. But I also think we're starting to watch the game in such a minute millisecond type of play. We need to have them watch the replay in real life play. If you can't make the call watching it one time, then stand or overturn it. Because there's several times, and I know you guys watch football a lot, there's several times where we're watching the game and we can call a penalty before it's even a penalty. Before that flag comes out, you're like, oh, there's a hold on the guard right there.
No, yeah, for sure.
Or, oh, he got past that first down. He lunged across. You know what I mean? And then they go back and they watch it in such minute milliseconds, which the game's not played in. They're like, he was short a half a yard. I'm like, really? We're going to we're little knickknacks there.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my opinion, though.
It is crazy. We all got such good TVs. I think about all the old, like when you're like in the 70s and stuff, you're watching football, how many plays just got by you because the screen's too fuzzy.
Well,
Or it's that big.
Yeah, it's like
Think about
that
the
big.
40s, it's black and white.
Yeah.
And so, like,
That
the
12
colors
inch that I
blink
had in my
together. You
dorm
don't know
room.
which team's which and all that stuff.
These guys don't stand a chance. In baseball, too. All the sports, like the
No,
refs.
not anymore.
But the money in the NFL from the 70s to now is astronomically more, and all the different betting avenues. That Vegas guys that likes that money and don't like giving it away for nothing.
That's my other thing is like in that instant replay when they're looking at that 4th and 1, we're dictated on looking down the line, right? Why aren't we using the one above to actually see the ball?
Dude, let me tell you something. Hey,
Agreed.
controversial theory. I think they do have footage. I think they do have footage from yesterday that shows a better call. But after the play call, they were like, "Do not show that on the TV."
I agree.
That's what I kind of think. But before we go to commercial break, Mahomes, I want to let you know how he feels. He said about the refs giving him favorable treatment. I don't feel that way. Mahomes said Wednesday after the Chiefs' preparations for Sunday AFC Championship game against the Bills. At the end of the day, the referees are doing their best to call the game as fair and as proper as they possibly can. Mahomes thinks it's on the up and up. So anyways, you heard
agree
it.
with Mahomes.
Mahomes and Kelly think it's on the up and up. Come on back. Huddle up on 93. Cute. I'm Adam Avalos with eXp Realty. I'm a born and raised third-generation Yuba Sutter resident who has lived in the area all my life. My office is located at 1429 Colusa Highway in Yuba City, providing commercial and residential services to Yuba Sutter and Butte counties. Whether you are buying or selling, I promise to treat you and your friends and family like my friends and family. More information about Adam Avalos Realtor can be obtained by phone at 530-933-3541 or by following Adam Avalos Realtor on Instagram or Facebook.
As we enter the rainy season and hope for rain, but not too much, we are thrilled to say that in Yuba County, we've made a ton of progress in improving our levee system and reducing our flood risk. But there is still much more to do. At Yuba Water Agency, reducing flood risk is job number one. We are preparing now for more frequent extreme storms. We're already seeing them. And we just want you to know that we are working hard to reduce your risk even more. Learn more about what the future holds at yubawater.org.
Saquon Barkley, first down. Barkley, oh! Saquon, touchdown.
Welcome back to Huddle Up. Second segment, guys. I thought my phone was doing. What is it doing, man? I don't know, something weird. Did that last week too.
Yeah, it just keeps going even after you turn it off. It's like, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
You downloaded TikTok.
Yeah, I downloaded TikTok. I gotta see what it's about. There's only 90 days left. I gotta see what it's about. No, but anyways, back to Saquon. Another masterful performance. Honestly, he's got to be my favorite person of the playoffs. I think he's everybody's. He's kind of everybody's darling right now. You know, just having a heck of a season. You know, you can never root against a guy that sat over in New York. I'm not gonna say collecting dust, but he definitely wasn't sniffing the playoffs anytime soon or anything like that. So for him to finally get his due, finally get on the stage, feels really good. The Eagles feel like a complete team. They go in there. We talked about it a little bit before this. We talked about it yesterday. We text each other during the games and stuff, but the Commanders looked young to me. They looked really young coming into that game, and the Eagles, they put a spanking on them, I think, you know, and they really reasserted themselves as the top dog in that division and said, hey, you know, we're the clear-cut favorites in the NFC, and I truly feel that going into the Super Bowl, the best representative from the NFC is there. What do you think, Kelly?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Best line in the NFL, best running back in the NFL. I think with Hurts' ability to run and throw a little bit, you got A.J. Brown on the outside with Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner.
People forget about Smith, man.
Yeah.
And Dallas Goedert yesterday had a heck of a game.
Yes.
Yeah, they got a complete team.
All playoffs, Goddard's averaging like 4 catches a game.
Yeah, he had a complete game.
Yeah.
Is that like a quick little prop play over there?
Yeah.
Throwing out there real quick for the Super Bowl?
Patrick Mahomes.
Ryan got us all on like prop bets.
No, I didn't get it all.
Ryan
You've
got
been
me.
asking for weeks about
I was
if
like,
there's
how do
any
I
betting in
How do I
California.
bet on the game? You're not allowed to bet in California on like.
So I sent you a link.
Yeah, and so I made like 8 prop bets. I'm like instantly addicted. It's like you have to put in $100. I spent the whole $100, but I did win one $20 bet, and I won $210. So
Nice.
But Kelly is at the casino. Tell us what you won, Kelly. You won.
You know, a little something.
What did you win?
He just won a little bit underneath the IRS negotiation tables.
I actually got a W-2. I won $1,900.
Oh, man, good. Yeah.
That $10.99 gets you every
I know
time.
they do.
Don't get taxed.
I like how you call it a W-2.
$1,200.
It's like you're really working over there.
He's got to wash dishes for how much money he's lost at the casino. That's what's going on.
Exactly. But Jason, a lot of hype coming into this game. Obviously, Jaden Daniels, it was kind of the Cinderella story. You know, he's the rookie, and you know, coming into the game, and you know, a lot of people. I was kind of rooting for it just because I thought the story would be fun. You know, I was rooting for him to win, but ultimately, I think what happened here is what needed to happen. What do you think, Jason, on Jaden Daniels and the Eagles?
Oh, they came out all hyped up, and they were ready to play and stuff, but they were just overly hyped and stuff. And then right before that halftime, when those turnovers happened, to go, it's all over with. Turn out the lights right there.
Yeah.
And the thing about Jaden Daniels comes in, he's a rusher. So he broke the single-season quarterback rushing record, you know. So, yeah, it makes the Redskins look, or the Commanders look a little bit more dominant, but they're going to figure him out. So he needs to come back and play. I know the Commanders had a great season and stuff, but they did come over a little too hyped, and it did show their youthfulness, and the Eagles did give them a smacking.
Yeah.
But on the Commanders.
Yes, sir.
I heard Maurice Jones-Drew say this last night. This is going to be the worst roster he plays on for the next couple of years because their salary cap
Yeah.
They're going to be able to bring in
they
five really good players.
They get to do the Brock Purdy thing
Well,
now.
Yes,
and then on top,
yes.
because they went so far in the playoffs, their offensive coordinator didn't even get an interview and wasn't even looking for an interview.
Nice.
And most of the head coaching spots that were open are filled.
Well,
they're filled.
They
So
need to keep him so that they keep that.
he definitely saw
continuity.
something because last year, remember, he was like on board with coming to the Raiders, and then it was like, I don't know yet, and then took one last interview. He was like, "Yep, I'm Washington bound," and he was sold on the vision they had out there. So
We're gonna talk about coaching stuff a little bit later, but one thing in parallel I saw last night is like Vic Fangio has been the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's got some ties with the Niners and stuff back in the day, and he's been around a long time. But their defense was like swarming yesterday all over him. They didn't fall for the same stuff that the Detroit Lions did with the RPOs, and the Chiefs the same thing with Spagnuolo. Man, consistency with those defensive coordinators is, I think that's a huge reason why Niners fans are so ecstatic about getting Saleh back, because it can't be overstated. Like a good defensive coordinator, somebody that's getting the guys hyped, that has good schemes and stuff. Spagnuolo has been awesome during these playoffs for the Chiefs, keeping people. That last play that he dialed up against the Bills last night, I mean, that's a pretty gutsy play call to blitz three off the edge like that.
He's so popular over in KC. If you didn't know and you were just a layman person watching a game towards the end of the game, you would think he was the head coach as much as they show him.
No,
during
exactly.
The game.
You're right.
You wouldn't even think who is Andy Reid, because they don't show him enough.
No, and they're so fortunate because, I mean, every single year when they're doing coaching hirings, he's getting calls, but he's just turning them down.
Yeah.
You know, and so
How many opportunities you get to be in a squad like this and get the rings? Most
you're right.
players, you get all the money and they'll get away from that money so they can get some of those.
I know. I
rings
wish like Saleh or would come back and do that. I mean, I know he has head coaching aspirations, but I hope he'd stay with the Niners for at least a few seasons, before going somewhere else. But so the game, obviously Saquon, he was the star of the show again. I mean, what more things can we say about Saquon Barkley? 15 rushes, 118 yards, 7.9 per carry, 3 yards. I mean, he looks cool out there. He's just kind of a little guy, pretty muscly, and he's just making it happen all over the field, breaking long ones.
They dominated that game. 7 touchdowns rushing. They didn't throw the ball. The kicker didn't even have to kick a field goal. Like, they just every time they had the ball, they just did what they wanted with it. And what happened in the game that I actually talked about last week is they can't be too one-dimensional. Even though they scored all their touchdowns on rushing, Hurts opened it up.
Yeah.
Hurts actually threw the ball. Hurts started throwing the ball to show them that we're not one-dimensional. We can move the ball through the air. We have no problem doing it when we want to. We just have such a great running game. Why do we try?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, our first play of the game, we just kind of chucked it out there and said, go.
And that's what I like about the Eagles. A lot of these teams, they want to show you how smart they are. Like, their offensive coordinator want to call all these plays. The Eagles said, we're going to punch you in the mouth, and then we're going to keep running the ball. And if you don't stop it, we're going to keep.
Well, that's what happens when you have just better personnel.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you don't have to
Best
chance.
offensive line in
Yeah,
football.
when and that's it, and you don't have to chance it. But probably the best running back in football, don't you think? I mean, Saquon.
Definitely.
He's just a whole nother level. He's kind of like how McCaffrey kind of was a few years ago. Saquon's that right now in the NFL right now.
What
He
I
can do
liked
it
is,
all.
I hate to say that Gainwell went down with that injury in the game, and then that new rookie Shipley came in at the end. Obviously, the game was out of hands for them, and they just continued running the ball, and he still ran.
Yeah.
What'd he have, like 65 yards on like 4 carries?
Yeah. Well, look at it. They
look just like
their
him.
backs they had last year. The guy that went to Chicago.
Yeah.
He had great games behind that line too.
Yeah.
Barkley is one of the best backs.
He was
since
already
Adrian
good, but he gets a
Peterson,
good
yeah.
line like that.
Yeah,
Like,
now
you
we're
don't see those explosive runs like he does game after game after game.
Yeah, Will
60
Shipley had
yards.
4 carries for 77 yards and 19 per carry. Yeah, their offensive line is beastly.
And he was celebrating more on that touchdown than any other touchdown the whole time.
Do you think that the Kelsey brother? You think he's regretting not? I mean, they're right there again.
No, he's hanging out with Taylor Swift. And
Yeah. I tell you,
Actually,
we're
he
gonna.
wasn't even at the game yesterday.
Oh, that's right.
He was too busy on his show.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna talk about it real quick, because I wanted to ask you guys about the tush push. They did it a bunch, but it looks miserable. The new guy that they have, he was kind of fighting injury, and he just didn't look happy doing it.
I heard one of the
for the center, it's like the worst play ever.
I heard one of the funniest things talking about the center and how he's got to be strong. They said that Jason Kelsey entered the NFL when he entered his rookie season. He was 6'2", and he left at 5'10" after the tush push.
Really?
So many years.
Just squished him up, huh?
Just squished them all up.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys about that. So getting back into something controversial, because I know some people are adamantly they love to play. They think, hey, if you can't stop it, then just or whatever. But do you guys like the tush push? They did it a lot of times yesterday. I totally understand. Lots of teams can't do it. The Bills were trying to do it, and they were horrible at it. And they have a huge quarterback, so not everybody can do it. I know that the Eagles do it better than anyone. I know that they're working towards their strengths. So comprehensively, is it good for TV? Do you like the sportsmanship of it? What do you think about the tush push, Kelly?
Well, if they're talking about player safety, this is a play that puts player safety in jeopardy.
Yeah.
What happened years ago where you couldn't push someone from behind to advance him yardage-wise, that was a penalty.
Yeah.
Now I see offensive linemen literally pick running backs up and carry them into the end zone.
Yeah.
The guy is waggling his feet.
Little Darren Sproles going.
Yeah. I seen that in a couple of games this year. I'm like, what's going on?
Or the linemen's falling on their back, just tossing them
in the end zone.
Tossing them in the end zone.
Because essentially the quarterback's head is the tip of the battering ram. Everybody else is pushing his tush, in. But what do you think, Jason? Do you like it? Sportsmanship? I personally don't like seeing it on TV. I know they're good at it. I know they're great at it. So if we're going to leave it, then I guess every time it's 3rd and 9 for them, just give it to them. I guess they're that good at it, right? You need to stop them on 1st, 2nd, 3rd down. You can't let it get to a yard. But I just don't like the way it looks. I mean, they're great at it. Great. I think it's going to take a Jalen Hurts injury for them to stop. I don't think it'll last. In 10 years, we're going to see it a lot. But on TV, I just don't love it. What do you think, Jay?
You're right. I don't really particularly love it, but it win some games, so they're going to keep on doing it.
Does anybody here want them to get rid of the rule? I'd like them to just get rid of it.
I like them to stop all the pushing from behind.
Yeah, anybody that wants
I love it.
Really?
That was my fantasy name all year, dude. Tush push till it hurts.
Oh, all right, okay. Well, tell us why you love it. The one guy that I know that loves it, he's just if you just hate it
because you just
can't
said it
stop
perfect. You just said it perfect.
Yeah.
Yesterday we watched an NFC Championship game that had a lot of tush pushes in it. And at one point, Washington jumped offside so many times the ref said, "We will give them the score if you do it again."
Yeah. I know,
because they did it 3 times in a row on purpose, but trying to stop it.
But that's because it's unstoppable. That's how unstoppable they know it is.
Is it though? Like you said,
Washington did stop it once yesterday.
They are the ones that have invented it. They are the ones that ran with it. They've even changed personnel and still run it really good. You just said it. The Bills look horrible doing it, and they got a way bigger quarterback.
But it feels like something like maybe they started first and have been tweaking longer, and so they're really, really good at it. And they draft accordingly.
You know why they're really good at it? It's not just because of quarterback. Because you have Saquon Barkley standing right behind you that you have to pay attention to.
Of course. You
can literally start to go and just pitch.
But do you want your team, if you found out that the Raiders now, Pete Carroll, who we're going to get, his offensive philosophy, he thinks that the analytics show that really, really works. So he's going to start drafting accordingly for guys that can do the tush push really good.
Doing the tush push with their tight end? Who started doing that towards the end of the year?
I don't want the Niners to do it, man.
There's a team that started doing the tush push, and it was with the tight end.
You know what I mean?
He would line up underneath real quick he would motion, get right underneath the center, snap it, and go.
Was it the Chargers?
I think it was the Chargers.
Because their quarterback was injured, though.
I don't remember who it was. Maybe it wasn't, because Herbert wasn't injured. Well, there was a team that was doing it really well with the tight end.
I remember.
I only want to abolish it because they're so good at it. It's a compliment. I mean, they're good at it. It just seems like an automatic, and it's boring to me.
I hope I see it 4 times in the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, I do hope they do it to the Chiefs. I do hope they do it to the Chiefs.
Go for it.
How many minutes do we got, Gary? What do we got until commercial break? Sorry. All right, 3 minutes. We are going to get into bracket challenge a little bit. Anybody else have anything to say? They want to say?
It's over.
The Eagles. Eagles. They're going to the Super Bowl. It's a rematch. We're going to talk about them next segment. But anything you want to say about Eagles Commanders just before that? You just burning desires.
No, it's exactly the way the game was just going to play out, just like me and Keegan talked about last week.
I think we got a really good Super Bowl.
Do you guys wish that the Lions would have been there instead?
At this point, no.
No. Versus the Eagles, we would have got a better game. I feel like the Commanders took the Lions by surprise. That bye week hurt them. They came in, punched them in the mouth.
Which I think is what would have happened if they went into the NFL. If they would have went into the Super Bowl with the hype, is that they would have went in with too much hype, expected, and I think the Commanders took care of what would have happened in the Super Bowl on the Super Bowl day. In my opinion, the Eagles are the best team there.
Yeah, I agree.
One team can't beat KC.
I said it last week. I wanted the Bills to be there, right? But I actually thought Baltimore had a better chance at beating the Kansas City Chiefs this week because I thought they were the better team the week before, even though they lost. I thought they would have given the Chiefs a harder match in the AFC Championship.
It did feel at times out there because it was in Arrowhead that it was like Josh Allen out there all by himself, to where if like Lamar would have been out there, it would be like, at least he's got his buddy Derrick Henry by himself.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just felt like Josh Allen was just out. I mean, Cook had a heck of a game, but he's just not the same. But
Right.
so we had a bracket. We had a bracket challenge here at the show. We filled out some brackets, and our buddy Kelly over here, he won. Gosh, the bracket challenge, it was fierce.
You're going to give him a $10.99 for that one too?
Yeah, I'm going to give him a $10.99 for that.
So I got a question for you, Adam. How'd you do?
I did pretty terrible. I did bad.
I just checked.
I think it was me and you that did the worst.
No, I got 4th.
Oh, okay. Well, then I did way worse.
Yeah, you're at the bottom of the barrel.
Oh, gosh.
Where
dude.
did I end up? 3rd?
That's
You ended up 3rd.
All right.
That's one of those things, though. It's us Buckeyes. We just been winning all the brackets.
Yeah, that's true. No, you know what I was going to say, though?
What year did you play?
No, you know
Actually, I played in '85.
the year I was born.
Beechcroft High School.
You know what I was going to say?
downtown.
I was going to say, though, Kelly, you are good at stuff like this, man. He's always at
He
the
is.
top. Whenever we have him in fantasy football, whatever, like March Madness.
So in 10 days, I want to see the prop bets. Send
You
them
don't
out
call
a
him a
little bit
guru
sooner.
for nothing. The guru.
Well, again,
Exactly.
last night when we were watching that game, and what's the running back that you needed to go for 8 yards?
P. Ryan.
P. Ryan, literally to cover his prop
yes,
bets.
play.
He played one play in the game,
17 yards.
and he gets a 17-yard catch, and all he needed was 8. And I'm like, Kelly knows the script of the NFL.
No, he does. And no, he does. He's good
Is
at
he
that
getting
stuff.
like the Cliff Notes in the morning or something like
Exactly.
that?
I need to know this.
He's the only person. Your wife's name is Michelle. I'm gonna vouch for you real quick. You should let him just gamble. He's pretty good at it. He seems to be like making the family money at it. So just let him do his thing. I know it seems a little iffy at times when he's telling you, but just let him do his thing. And I think you're gonna end up on top in the net averages. You know
Kelly's
what I
our
mean?
prop bet savant over here.
Kelly knows. So, anyways, come on back for the third segment. Huddle up on 93 Q.
Kelly, stick with it.
Young Champs Athletics Academy is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping young athletes excel in speed, agility, and overall fitness. Their mission is to provide a safe and nurturing environment where young athletes can grow both physically and mentally. Through training sessions, 7-on-7 competitions, full contact camps, and more, Young Champs aims to foster the champions of tomorrow right here in our local community. More information about Young Champ Athletics Academy may be obtained at the Young Champs Athletic Academy's Facebook page or contact Gabe at 530-300-8908 or Art at 530-713-9214. Young Champ Athletics Academy is a proud sponsor of Q Community Radio.
Here's your local weather forecast from community-supported 93Q. Tonight, our skies will be clear with a low around 32 and a light east wind. Then sunny tomorrow with a high near 58 and a calm wind. And Wednesday will also be sunny with a high near 56. This weather pattern of dry conditions, cool afternoons, and freezing early morning temperatures will continue through Thursday. Our days will top out in the upper 50s with lows in the low to mid 30s, along with calm winds. Then changes are expected to take place on Friday. A system from the northwest will drop into the state and will bring moisture into the region. We could see showers all weekend and into next week. This weather forecast is sponsored by Yuba Water Agency at yubawater.org, providing incredible recreation at New Bullets Bar Dam and Reservoir, just 45 minutes from Marysville. For 93 Community Radio, I'm Kurt Baird. Thanks for your support and have a good evening.
Welcome back to Huddle Up, segment 3. All right. We're talking about some Pro Bowl stuff. Definitely some games that they're not going to have. These ones were. Well, anyways, we're talking about the Pro Bowl. Like, now they just play, like, two-hand touch, flag football. We never really watch it too much. It is, I believe, this Saturday. It's always in Hawaii. It is an honor.
No, it's not always in Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
They move it now.
Oh, really? See,
Yeah.
even that. It used to be like everybody would do the trip to Hawaii, and then the players would hang out with the family.
Before
and
they made all that money, it used to be like a reward
Of
back
course.
in the day. Yeah.
And it was cool because you'd see like Tom Brady or like Drew Brees in a skills competition, but they'd be wearing like flip-flops and a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was what was cool. But I don't know what they do anymore. Like, honestly, they should let like Pat McAfee or somebody that's like fun take over the weekend
Yeah,
and
that'd be
do
cool.
like challenges. And I think it would be like kind of fun. I don't know. Something like that. I don't even want to see these guys. I don't want to see some dude on the. I don't want to see Fred Warner out there tearing an ACL in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that's why they
I
don't
don't even
play.
think it's called the Pro Bowl games now or something like that now,
Yeah.
right? They
I
just
li-
play a bunch of different
Dude, I
random
used to
games.
love like Larry Allen from the Dallas Cowboys when they do
Bench
like
press.
the 225, dude. That guy just jack him up like 60
it's
times.
now in Orlando, Florida.
Florida. So
at the
get some
Camping World Stadium.
Camping
So
World Stadium.
should we do it instead of having a football game, make it like Wipeout? And whatever player
That would
goes
be
through
fun.
best,
Kind of.
there you go.
That'd be fun. That's
Have
like
some
a little
teams.
obstacle course.
But players don't want to get hurt. That's why they're
Yeah,
going,
yeah,
I don't know,
exactly.
yeah.
Ah, you're not going to get too hurt on Wipeout. Everything's all padded, so you'll be all right.
And like even when they were playing, like it was like touch.
flag,
If you
yeah.
touch them, you didn't
It's
have to
boring.
tackle.
Still
Yeah.
It's completely boring.
No, I'm talking about before they went to flag
Yeah.
football.
We're
It
gonna,
was
what
like-
we had in mind during commercial break was something to do with their wives. We'll tell you about that later. Just text us. Anyways, all right. So we're gonna get to the annual awards for the year. They're about to give those out here. I believe it's like February 6th. They're gonna give them out. So we'll probably be on the show again before. But we wanted to talk about them. Obviously, it's MVP award. I'm gonna say I got them in front of me. I'm gonna say the nominees for the award and then go around the table. Who you guys think? You can get a little in depth with it if you want. Not too crazy, but so for obviously most valuable player, the biggest award that there is, the nominees are Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and Lamar. My guy, Josh Allen. I just think he's done a lot with a little, and that's just my dude. I think Lamar's very deserving. Saquon, the running backs don't get love, but who do you think, Kelly? Who is your MVP for the season?
Wow. It's tough, man.
I know we don't have the stats in front of us. We did it a few weeks ago,
Well,
but just
the
like
stats
where's your heart going? Who are you
the
going with?
stats say Lamar. Josh Allen's had a great season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Saquon.
Saquon, all right, I like it. If you had to vote Saquon, I like some love for the running backs. It's just not typically a running back award. They got to do some things.
2,000 yards.
Gosh, if you could vote after yesterday's game, you'd have to shove one in there for him. You'd just be compelled to. But who you got, Jason? Who's your most valuable player for the season?
I like Kelly's, the Barkley one, but I'm going to go with Lamar.
Yeah, Lamar. You just think Lamar. If you could start MVP, what does it mean to you guys? Is it like best performance, or is it like
Does he have
if
the
you
best
could
passer
choose?
rating?
If I always look at it as like if I could choose one player in the league to start my franchise with, this is who I choose. Is that the way you guys look at it? No,
No.
Gary agrees with me. What do you guys look at MVP?
Then that would be Patrick Mahomes every year.
Yeah, and maybe so. Yeah.
He's getting that Jordan treatment, right?
Yeah.
So
In my opinion, I look at the MVP when I go on my gut, and obviously you guys probably know who I'm going to lean to. I've been leaning to him since week 7.
Yeah.
I've been saying Josh Allen to me.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr with his wrists and flying over people he can't hurdle anybody. Come on now. No, Josh Allen. And to me, I just feel if you take that player, I guess all the players, if you take them off the team, they're not as good as they were. Lamar, like I said from the beginning, he's had phenomenal stats. Better stats than he had is when he won the MVPs. But when he won the MVPs, he was the dude in that team. He had not a lot of help. He made the team who he was. And that's where I see Josh Allen in this perspective. Josh Allen, if he goes down with an injury, that team is done. This is a team we all said starting the season out was not going to win that AFC East.
Yeah.
We didn't predict that. We didn't predict them to be one game away from the Super Bowl. A lot of people didn't. Lamar got more help this year. He got Derrick Henry, who ran for, 1,600 yards? I don't even know the stats, what he ran for, but he was up there. That took a lot of load off of what he used to do. So that's where I lean in my MVP book would be Josh Allen. I think Saquon if he would have broke the record.
It's almost like Lamar.
He would have broke the record.
He
but
should have
set
broke the
out.
record.
Yeah.
The day they got Henry, Lamar, it kind of hurt his chances a little bit. MVP's still possible for him, but since he has a better cast.
The one guy I like to actually see on this list that I was surprised at being a finalist was Burrow, because Burrow had an amazing season, stat-wise. His team just wasn't good.
Yeah, I like Burrow a lot. Defensive Player of the Year, Zach Bond, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, Patrick Surtain, and TJ Watt. I'm a big TJ Watt guy. I think his statistics, we were talking about it a few weeks ago, so I know his stats are up there, but I think he's a game changer. I like game changers. Nick Bosa used to be a game changer. He needs to get back to that. He's a game wrecker, TJ Watt. I really like him for Defensive
Miles
Player
Garrett's
of the Year.
not on that list?
Yeah, Miles
he's
Garrett's on
number
the
two.
list.
Miles
Yeah, he was the
Garrett,
second guy, and I love. He was the guy I wanted to choose. Both of them
Their
are just
team
game
is so
breakers. I
bad.
just like
Yeah.
TJ Watt, and I feel like the Steelers, they played so well. So I give the edge to the team that got more wins. Who do you think, Jay? Who do you like, Jay?
I'm going to go with Patrick Surtain, led the NFL with the fewest yards per coverage catch. He's a beast out there, so that'll be my defensive.
Yeah, I was with that. That's who I would have picked.
Yeah, who you got? Well, you got a choice. Who you got?
Pat.
Oh, Patrick Surtain. Okay.
Yeah.
He was on the trade block last year, and I was like hoping the Niners would get him.
Yeah,
But
that
the
was a
Broncos
good
were
one.
smart not to get rid of him. They got a good thing going over there in Denver. Ryan, who you got for Defensive Player of the Year?
I mean, a great list of all
Yeah,
players.
all the guys are
They're
worthy, I'm sure. You know what I mean?
And I just kind of lean, like how you say, I always lean towards a guy that's been on a winning team most of the year, and I think it makes a big difference, and I'm going to go Zach Bond.
Yeah.
He has been all over the place for that defense. That defense is young. I don't think we talked about it when we were talking about it.
Jalen
but they
Carter?
They have two rookies that are up for Defensive Player Rookies of the Year.
What's the number 3, the outside linebacker? He had a sack.
I don't know, but that guy Oren Burks yesterday that came from the Niners, he had a heck of a game, and he didn't ever play like that on the Niners. He played good, but he didn't play like that.
Bond had a good game too.
Yeah.
He was everywhere.
Moving on, just because we want to get through these. So, Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon, Joe Burrow, Jamar, Derrick Henry, and Lamar Jackson. If I'm going strictly off wins, and he had a special season, Saquon, but somebody's got to throw some love to Joe Burrow, man. He had a great season on a terrible team, but that's my choice. Who you got, Kelly?
Since I know Saquon's not going to get MVP, please give him offensive player.
That's where I'm with you, Kelly.
That's what Christian McCaffrey got the year he didn't win it.
In my opinion, that's Barkley's to lose.
Yeah, what do you think, Jay?
2,000 yards? Come
Barkley,
on.
too. I'm going with Barkley, Offensive Player of the Year.
All right, Barkley, unanimous. If you don't get Offensive Player of the Year, there's 4 guys right here that'll put up a fight for you. Offensive Rookie of the Year, we got Brock Bowers, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors,
This is
Bo
a unanimous
Nix,
decision.
Yeah, that's
and
not even.
Brian
I
Thomas
don't even know why
Jr.
there's a list.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you're right. Jaden Daniels is
It's
offensive.
our-
All right, but I want
it's
to tell
not
you
even
this.
close.
I want to tell you this. I think 5 years from now, Bo Nix is the better quarterback. That's my prediction. I really like Bo Nix. I think he's got the spunk, and Jaden does too. It's just like, I don't know, man. He's got a small frame, and I think the running thing, you know,
Going to get him.
yeah, it's like
him.
I don't know.
He looks.
I don't
a
know.
little
Jaden
smaller.
Daniels kind of
But
looks
Jaden
like
Daniels
a
look good,
new-aged
too.
Jalen Hurts, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think
either
he'll
way-
calm down when he gets more weapons over there.
Either way,
He's
both are
able
really
to
good
throw.
quarterbacks.
My only thing is RG3 looked the same way that
Absolutely.
he was the Rookie of the Year
Yeah,
for
you're right.
the
Those boys are big back there.
football team or whatever it was then, or the Redskins, what it was. But yeah, I think Jaden Daniels is even better than the last few quarterbacks that we've seen, and I think
Yeah, for sure.
in 3 years he will beat Mahomes in a Super Bowl.
Really, you think that
3
he's like
years.
that good?
Yes.
Yeah. Regardless, there's some great quarterbacks. Defensive Rookie of the Year, we got Cooper DeJean, Brandon Fisk, Quinyon Mitchell, Chop Robinson. I like that guy's name. He's on the Dolphins, and Jared Verse. Jared Verse is really good too. I'm gonna go with that Cooper DeJean guy, man, because he's the only white DB in the NFL. That's kind of cool. He's giving me like those Ryan Seahorn vibes. Wasn't that dude's name? Played for the Giants, Ryan Seahorn.
Yeah.
He was dope. And so
who were they? Somebody used to make a joke about him.
I don't know.
There was a joke
I love
about
Ryan
him.
Seahorn. He was the man. New York Giants. He was a DB.
He's the one from Mount Shasta, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Mount Shasta's high school field is named after him.
Yeah.
nice.
Ryan Seahorn. But Cooper DeJean, man, he made some plays yesterday too on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles, they had a wonderful draft. I mean,
Not just them. Did you look at that list and the teams that are involved in those 5 players?
What about him?
2 Eagles and 2 Rams.
Yeah, Quinyon Mitchell. Yeah, I know the Rams
That's
did too.
impressive.
I know they did too. You know, this is the
draft picks.
blueprint too, because they signed Jalen a few years ago. This is what you have to do when you sign your quarterback to a huge deal. Right after that, all your other drafts before that can be dog water.
Right.
Right after that, them drafts after that, they better be good.
Yes.
Because and they did. That's what the Niners are gonna have to do. Right
Because
after they
you're not
pay
gonna be able to get free
Purdy.
agents.
No, exactly. So I like that. You're right, Ryan. Thanks for pointing that out. Well, who do you guys like out of that list?
I like
Defensive
Mitchell.
player. Mitchell.
I like Mitchell.
I like that Cooper design.
Yeah, he's Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper's
John,
arm
too.
was good. Mitchell locked down the receivers yesterday pretty good. I think they only had 4 catches to him for 7 yards in a game against them. So
Yeah. Got a few minutes left. Wanted to get to the coaching carousel. Obviously, Robert Saleh, he comes back to the Niners. That was huge news for us Niners fans. We really wanted Saleh back. It almost felt like, sometimes you can get a player or something. This felt big as like a player. Like when you sign like a big free agent. It just felt like the Niners definitely, they'd be kind of like their wheels have been turning on defense. And they also signed a special teams guy. Apparently, he's really good. They were talking about him. He's from the Jets today. But want to talk about, Ryan's here. We want to talk about a huge hiring. Everybody's kind of wondering, who's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders head coach. When I first heard it, it seemed weird. It's I don't know. It was like something that's like misplaced in your living room that always sits in a certain spot. Like it just felt weird. But as the days have kind of gone, it seems like a really awesome hiring to me. I really like the hiring Pete Carroll to the Raiders. He just seems like a nice guy, and the Raiders are kind of like,
Does he bring in Russell Wilson?
I don't know.
I think so.
But
I think he will.
Ryan, breaking news. Pete Carroll comes to the Raiders. That's your boy for probably the next few years. Pete Carroll, he's going to have a long leash. He's not getting fired this season, no matter what.
No, they give him a 3-year with a 4th-year option.
Yeah.
But today's press conference, he came out and he did say that he's very excited about working with Tom Brady. So everyone knows that Tom Brady's running the show over there. Like it is what it's going to be. What it's called. I do agree with Kelly. I do think they'll bring in a veteran if they can get him on a decent contract, because last year the Broncos paid for him.
But I thought him
That's
and
what I was
Russell
gonna say.
Wilson.
So
Isn't Russ still on?
I don't know if he is, but if he
he's
is,
out.
that'd be an awesome thing for the Raiders
Yeah,
to
he's
do.
going
To have
at
the
the
Broncos
minimum.
pay him.
No. There's no way he would demand a ton of money.
I'm just
especially after the
questioning, like,
season
if
they
he
just
does
had.
come to them and the Broncos are paying, does he pick his check up when he goes to Denver?
It's like, just stop by.
Yeah, just stop by. I'll give you your check for the season.
Yeah, layover. No, what did you think about the news, Jay? Me and Jay, as Niners fans, we obviously know Pete Carroll well. Came from USC, came over to the Seattle Seahawks. I obviously had some wonderful years with them there. I could still see him just like all those games, just kind of jumping around like in his windbreakers,
Chewing his dang bubble
gum. But a very energetic guy. I always thought of him as a players coach. There was even some rumblings that the Niners might be able to pick him up as a defensive coordinator. Very much would have liked that. I think the Raiders got a guy, man. I really like the hiring. What do you think, Jay?
I think it's a fantastic pickup. Be one of the oldest NFL coaches, 74, September 15th. So, I mean,
He's a youthful 74.
but you want
I hope I look like that at 74.
Experience and knowledge. You want to change a system. That's a guy that's going to do it for you.
Stability.
You're going to bring on Brady. That's going to really want a winning mentality with Carroll on there. I think it's a good combination. I think you're going to see some really good stuff from the Raiders. I know a lot of Raider fans don't like Brady, but God, you got to be better than Mark Davis. Jiminy Christmas, boy.
Yeah, with Brady and Pete Carroll, and Brady had to sign off on this. So, what do you think, Kelly?
I like Pete Carroll, but I don't know if I want him coaching my team at this time.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Is it an age thing or?
I just look at the decisions he made those last few years with the Seahawks, and I mean, I don't know if he just needed to change the scenery or what. Like sometimes your message falls short after so many years of being there, and so I think a lot of the players were ready for him to go.
Well, and then when you get older, you start to lose touch of the guys these days, they're doing all kinds of I'm not even going to start to speculate, but like cryotherapy and all the things that they're doing, everything's on a tablet and it's input it into there wherever.
They
and
have
you got to,
chefs.
as a coach, especially if you're an older guy, you got to stay up on these things and stuff like that. So Pete
Whereas
Carroll.
instead, we have a coach that's throwing routes at practice.
No,
That's
yeah,
what he's still used to doing.
and he seems super youthful. But Kelly brings up a good good point. You know, he's a little bit older, so he's going to have to do some things.
It's actually the same way I felt as a Raider fan when they went out and got Gruden for the second round. Like the first year we watched him, play call, I was like, man, he's bringing back the old school smash mouth football, and it's not working right now. It's just not. But year 2, he opened it up, and he actually said, my playbook is a 4-year playbook. Like, you will not learn it in the first year. It expands as we grow, as we learn it, and then we started seeing it until emails got leaked. That doesn't revolve around him, but
exactly. I'm excited for it. If I was Raider Nation, I'd be excited for it. I mean, Pete Carroll, I rooted against him a lot, but if the Niners were coachless, I'd happily welcome him.
At this point, as a Raider fan, you just hope that we'll get some stability in a game.
I mean,
we're in a division that 3 of the 4 teams went to the playoffs. Like, we're behind the ball here.
I think you guys really need to let somebody that has some a history, have a few years at it. There's no way to turn it around in a whole year.
If I could say one thing to Pete Carroll, though, if I could say one thing to Pete Carroll, I would just say, get a ball to Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, I know. Oh, gosh. Man,
that's still...
Brady brought him in, and that was a conversation. Like, hey, thanks for
that Super Bowl.
But he would have been a spokesman for the team for the rest of the year, and he would have been a very good talker. That's why they said give it to Russ Wilson, let him pass it in. He'd be a better talker, because Marshawn would be like, he wouldn't be the best role model for the kids compared to Russell Wilson. That's why they didn't run him in there. They should have run it in there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was a bad play call. I'm sure Pete Carroll regrets that. But we got about a minute left. We're going to talk about it a little bit next week. We're going to talk about maybe the Pro Bowl. Maybe we're going to talk about some stuff next week, but we're going to talk about the Super Bowl mostly. We all know what it is. But before we go, some people may or may not be here next week. But just quick predictions on the Super Bowl. I myself, I guess I'm rooting for the Eagles, but I think the Chiefs are just going to win. For the three-peat, what do you think, Kelly? Who you got? Do you want to do who do you want to win? Who do you think's going to win type pick? Anything you want. What do you think's going to happen?
I really don't know who's going to win, but I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Man. I really don't know. This is going to be a really good Super Bowl. I think the running game for the Eagles will put pressure on the Chiefs defense, and they're going to score some points. So the Chiefs haven't really scored a lot of points.
This was their first game over 30.
Yeah, so that's the thing. To beat the Eagles, you're going to have to score 30.
I feel like Saquon could be the neutralizer. I feel like if the Eagles win, the next day the headline is that Saquon went off. He has to again.
Or it's going to say the refs didn't cause them to lose.
Yeah, I don't know. There could be. All eyes are definitely on the Super Bowl. What do you guys think before we go? Who do you think's going to take it?
I think the Eagles have an opportunity to take on the Kansas City Chiefs and beat them. Money-wise, I'm going to go with the Chiefs because there's too much stuff going. They've got the Swifties. You got this. You got this. So much money invested into the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Vegas-wise, I'm going to get more money getting that way than with the Eagles. So I'm going to go. My instinct says I'm going to go with the Eagles, but my money says let's go with the Chiefs.
Fool me 87 times? Shame on me. The Chiefs keep getting me, dude. They're not going to get me again. I learned at Tom Brady way too late. It was like year 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I started thinking, this guy's pretty good. I should just start betting on him. I'm not going to be the same with Mahomes. I think they're going to win. What do you think, Ryan?
Well, I have a lot more Eagles fans than Chiefs fans in my life. So I'm going to go with my Eagles.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm rooting for the Eagles, I guess. I don't really care. Like CMC, can they both just lose? That's what he said.
I just like the underdogs, and I want to see someone dethrone them. I mean, I will wait for the day. It will happen, and I don't care when it happens, but I just can't wait for it to happen.
You never hear the end of it. 3 in a row. Oh, good gravy. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't care who wins. I'm just hoping for my prop bets.
Yeah,
Jason, those will come out next week, guys.
Jason, you're so right. You're so right, though, Jason. If they win 3 in a row, we will never hear the end of it.
Man.
Anyways, huddle up on 93Q. Come on back next week.